Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world, and today we'll start our journey on polygons. So today I want you to be able to classify different types of shapes, understand what diagonals are, and know what the word regular means. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of definitions here. Sorry, no way to avoid it. So please get your pen finger ready so you can write some of these down. First, we'll go through what a polygon actually is. So this shape that I put on your screen is a polygon. A polygon is just any shape with many sides. So most of the shapes with which you're familiar are polygons. Triangles, squares, hexagons, all of that, they are polygons. So I just need to make sure you understand the side doesn't include this curved business. So a circle is not a polygon. Okay, anything like it. An oval, not a polygon, because curved lines are not sides. So something like this is not a polygon. Okay, so it's just have our normal regular edges. Now, we sometimes want to classify polygons because there's so many different ones. So let's look at how we're going to classify them. So the first way we're going to look at classifying polygons is whether they're convex or concave. So convex basically means it points out, and concave means that it points in. Okay, so what does this mean in the context of shapes? So let's look at the two shapes that I put here. They're both polygons, they're just shapes with many sides, and all their sides are just edges. So the first one is convex because all its vertices point outwards. Now vertex means a corner, okay? And the plural of vertex is vertices. Okay, so we're just talking about the corners. So let's look at our first shape here, the convex shape. So I see here that all its corners are pointed outwards. In other words, they're pointed away from the center of the shape. Whereas for the concave shape, well, most of them still are. I mean, these ones are still pointed away from the shape, but it has one vertex that's pointed inwards. Okay, so convex means that all vertices are pointed outwards, whereas concave means at least one. You only need one to be pointing inwards for it to be concave. So if it helps, you might think of concave as like caving in, the shape's caving in. Okay, so if you want to take it down, these definitions, be my guest, they are also on your worksheets, okay? Now we're going to look at the second way that we can classify polygons. So the second way that we usually classify polygons is according to the number of sides it has. So here's a chart of some different types of polygons. So a three-sided shape we call a triangle. Any shape with three sides is a triangle. For a four-sided shape, you're probably used to squares, but the proper name for any four-sided shape, because they're not all squares, is quadrilaterals. Okay, now for five-sided shapes we call them pentagons and so on. Now you have this table on your worksheets. So this just refers to the number of sides. So for example, any shape with 10 sides, it doesn't matter how weird it looks, is a decagon. Okay? So going back to the picture that we just saw about concavity, so this shape here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So it's a pentagon. Okay, now this shape on the right looks weird, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So this shape here, because it has 6 sides, is a hexagon. Even though this shape here looks a lot different to this shape here, we still call them both hexagons. Now this one here probably looks a bit more familiar to you because it's regular. So let's go through the definition of regular. So regular just means all sides and angles are equal. So an equilateral triangle is a regular shape because all of its sides have the same length all of its angles are equal. Similarly, a square is a regular quadrilateral because all its sides and all 4 of its angles are equal. So that's what we mean when we say a regular shape, okay? So we met 2 of our learning goals. We understand what regular is and we've classified polygons. The last thing that we need to do is to go through diagonals. So the last thing we need to learn about is diagonals. Now, diagonals are lines in the shape that join non-adjacent vertices. So what does that actually mean? Well, non-adjacent means not next to each other. And I know you already know what vertices are because we went through that before. They're just the corners of the shape. So let's look at a polygon here. So this is a pentagon because it has 5 sides. Now, 5 sides means that it also has 5 vertices. So let's look at this vertex here, this corner here. So its adjacent vertices are the ones that are next to it, the ones that are drawn, connected to it by a line. So this one here is an adjacent vertex, and so is this one. So a diagonal will be a line from this vertex here to the other vertices, which are not adjacent. So this blue line that I just put in here is a diagonal because it connects a vertex to another and they're not next to each other, okay? So with knowledge of diagonals, we can easily tell whether a shape is concave or convex. So I'll show you how to do this. So let's look at the 2 shapes here. So this first shape here, it's 4 sides, it's a quadrilateral, but we know that that is convex because all of its vertices are pointing outwards. They're pointing away from the centre of the shape. Notice that the diagonals are actually both inside the shape. Whereas if we look at a concave shape, again it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides, you can see that while one of the diagonals is inside, one is actually outside, okay? So we can make up a definition here. So for convex shapes, all diagonals are inside the shape. Whereas for concave, there is at least one diagonal outside the shape. Okay, so you can see here that quadrilaterals have 2 diagonals only. It's only possible to draw 2 diagonals. Okay, there's some questions in the worksheets where you find out how many diagonals are in other shapes. But for now, we've reached all our goals. We understand what a regular shape is. We understand how to classify polygons, first according to whether they're concave or convex, secondly according to the number of sides they have, and thirdly we understand what a diagonal is. So I hope you have a wonderful day. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world.